My favorite thing about the whole, deer management philosophy is learning the process. We're not just throwing on our camo and going hunting. Those days are pretty much over. It's evolved. It's totally different than what it was 10 years ago. Going out and having the idea of, this is a 365-day process where we're doing habitat work, we're doing food plots, we're running cameras, and we're really getting to know the deer on a personal level. And when hunting season rolls around, that's the easy part. That's like our front seat ticket to the show, because the whole year we're basically watching from the sidelines and looking at trail cameras and learning these deer. And when October 1 rolls around, that's when we really dive into our strategy and how to kill one of these mature deer. So one of the farms that I've got permission to hunt, we've got a deer. He's a 4-year-old, and that's our management goal on this farm, is a 4-year-old deer or older to kill. We call him Homeboy. He's been there every year since I've hunted it. We've got footage of him as a 2-year-old, trail cam pictures and sheds, and we know the deer really well. He's frequenting the same food plot that I killed my deer in 2014 in early October. So we get into November, and I've got a set that's hung on the north end of this same food plot that I killed in 2014, and I've never hunted it. It's a stand that I hung for this particular time frame, November 5th through the 10th. South wind, high pressure morning, slip in, kill a good mature deer that's cruising through there, because we've got all these ridges that dump down, and CRP on the north end of the food plot. You get a south wind, they can cruise through there, not be seen, they can smell everything, slip through, and they think they're safe. But the main reason that I haven't hunted this stand is you've got to walk right through the center of the food plot to get to it. And walking through a food plot in the morning is generally not a good idea. But on November 3rd, I'll go in and I check a trail camera. Flipping in here to check a couple trail cameras. This time of year, it's very important to keep an eye on them. So, we're running 20 to 25 trail cameras, and I don't go check them all in the same day. I'll look at the weather, check the wind. If I've got the right wind to slip into a spot, I'll go in and check a camera. You never know this time of year when certain bucks or brand new bucks are gonna show up. So every now and then you can pick something out, slip in and kill a good deer just by being very smart with your trail cameras and keeping an eye on them. Take the card back, check the cameras, and I notice a small little window, or a tendency that these deer, the last leading up to that November 3rd, when I check the camera, I noticed that the deer, they're hitting the food plot from 3 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the morning, pitch black dark, and then when it starts to get daylight, they leave the food plot from 6:30 to 7:30. So typically on a hunt, you're slipping in a half an hour before daylight, not thinking anything of it, and that's just your typical morning hunt, is get in there before daylight. So it was getting daylight around 6:15 to 6:20. So I basically just drove out there, drank some coffee, sat in my truck, and waited for it to get daylight. As soon as I climb up deer moving through, everything, it just feels right. And one of the first bucks that I saw is a deer that we've never had any history with ever. He comes out from around the autumn olive bush. Immediately in the back of my head I say, mature deer. thing I know what to say is it's November and this is my favorite time of year. Man, I wish we'd had some history with that deer, but I've got a trail camera right there at 40 yards. Never seen the deer before in my life. Man, I love this. How are you this morning?
Good.
I'm great. I am missing my fourth arrow in more than one way. Everybody that knows me knows that if my head wasn't attached to my shoulders, I'd forget it. So right now I'm trying to remember everything that I need to take over there and try to track the deer. Forgot my camera arm this morning. Again, not the arm, I forgot the base. I got the shoulder, the arm, fluid head, everything but the base. Left it in the tree yesterday. Forgot to get my other one. But there he is right there. I see his belly. Yes. You know, I was obviously in there for a different deer, the deer we called Homeboy, but you know, I'm not gonna be that guy that sets his sights on one particular deer. You know, if we're trying to manage a 120 acre farm, and really it's only half that, so maybe, you know, 60 acres, and you're trying to manage for a 4.5-year-old deer or older that just so happens to be surrounded by public land, and I mean, you've got to take what Mother Nature gives you and be happy for it. I'm never gonna say, well, he's a 130, 135 inch deer, I'm gonna let him walk, and he's a 5-year-old. I'm not gonna be that guy. I mean, if you can't appreciate a deer for what he is at 4.5, 5.5, 6.5 years old, you shouldn't be hunting. And that deer is, God, he tore me up. One of the funniest things about the whole hunt is I forgot the base to the fourth arrow camera arm, which, you know, we've partnered up with them this year, and it's a great camera arm. I love carrying that thing. It's so light, it works really well, but that particular tree, I hadn't had a chance to go in there and hang my base. That's the preface behind, you know, what they do is you take all your bases to the tree, and then all you got to carry is the shoulder and the arm. And like I said, I just hadn't had a chance to get in there and hunt that tree. I don't like to go in and disturb any place unless I'm actually going in for a hunt. I guarantee you next year I'm gonna have all my bases in the tree before I go hunting.
Sacred